The sun was still hiding behind the mountains when Arav opened his eyes. The morning felt unusually heavy. The air was cold, and the silence inside the house was deeper than the silence outside. It had been 3 months since his life had taken a turn he had never imagined. 3 months since he lost his job. 3 months since his dreams seemed to pause. 3 months since he began wondering whether positivity was just a fancy word people used when they were afraid to admit they were breaking inside. Arav got out of bed slowly, rubbing his eyes. The world outside was waking up, birds were singing, neighbors were preparing for their busy routines. But Arav felt stuck, like he was frozen in time. He walked toward the window, looking at the horizon where the first ray of light was beginning to rise. For a moment he closed his eyes and whispered to himself, "Maybe today will be different. Maybe today things will get better." But deep down, he wasn't convinced. The weight of difficult times. 3 months ago, Arav had a stable job in a well-known company. He was respected, trusted, and often praised for his dedication. He dreamed of building a better life for his parents, who had sacrificed everything for him. He wanted to support his younger sister, who was still studying. But then, life hit him unexpectedly. A sudden downsizing, a polite email from HR, a short meeting that changed everything. He wasn't fired for poor performance. He wasn't blamed. Yet the result was the same. He was jobless. His routine, his ambitions, his identity, everything shook at once. He tried to stay positive in the first few days, believing that something better was coming. But weeks passed, then months. The rejections piled up. "We have selected a more experienced candidate. Your profile does not match our current requirements. We will get back to you." But they never did. Sometimes he stayed awake at night thinking, what went wrong? Why me? How long will this last? And every time someone told him, stay positive, he wondered, how? How do you stay positive when things keep falling apart? The unexpected visitor, one quiet afternoon, while Arav was sitting in the small balcony of his home, staring at the sky, his neighbor's little daughter Mira, a cheerful 8-year-old, knocked on his door. "Baya," she said with her usual excitement. "Mama said your light was off since morning. Are you sleeping all day?" Arav forced a smile. "No, Mira, just thinking." "Thinking?" She tilted her head. "About what?" "About life," he replied, staring at the sky. Mira squinted her eyes as if trying to understand a deep philosophical question. Then she said, "Life is like my maths homework. Very confusing, but you still have to do it." Arav laughed for the first time in days. "You're right, very confusing indeed." She placed a colorful flower in his hand. "Mama said flowers make people happy, so I brought you the prettiest one from our plant." Before he could say anything, she waved enthusiastically and ran back home. Arav looked at the little purple flower. Simple, fragile, but beautiful. For the first time in weeks, he felt something soften inside him. Sometimes, positivity comes from the most unexpected places, the decision to keep going. That evening, Arav sat down with his notebook, the same notebook he used to create plans when life was still predictable. He flipped through the pages filled with dreams and goals he once had. He hesitated. Then he wrote a single sentence, "I will not give up." He stared at the words for a long time. They weren't magical. They didn't change his situation instantly, but they felt like a small spark in a very dark room. The next morning, he woke up earlier than usual. He dressed neatly, even though he had nowhere to go. He cleaned his room, ate breakfast, and opened his laptop. He applied for new jobs. He updated his resume. He researched new skills he could learn. It wasn't easy. Doubt constantly whispered in his ear. What if you fail again? What if nothing changes? What if you're not good enough? But he tried to push those thoughts away. He reminded himself of something he had once heard. Difficult times are not meant to break you. They are meant to build you. The journey of small steps. Days turned into weeks again. But this time, Arav wasn't drowning in hopelessness. He was fighting. He attended free online workshops. He learned new tools and technologies. He read books on motivation and self-improvement. One day, he wrote on a sticky note, "Small steps are still progress." He placed the note on his wall, right where he could see it every morning. It became his silent motivator. Still, some days were very hard. Some days he felt exhausted. Some days he cried quietly at night. Some days he felt powerless. But unlike before, he didn't let difficult days stop him. He kept going. He had learned something important. Staying positive doesn't mean you ignore difficulties. Staying positive means you refuse to give up despite the difficulties. A new opportunity. One Monday morning, while checking emails, Arav froze. There was a message from a company he admired, a company he once dreamed of working for. He clicked the email with shaking hands. They wrote that they had gone through his application, liked his profile, and wanted to schedule an interview. His heart pounded. Excitement and fear mixed inside him. What if I fail? What if I forget everything? What if I'm not enough? But then he remembered the purple flower, Mira's innocent words, and the promise he made to himself. He whispered, "I will not give up." The interview. On the day of the interview, he woke up early. He wore his best shirt, combed his hair neatly, and stood in front of the mirror. "You've survived worse," he told himself. "You can do this." During the interview, he answered every question honestly. When they asked about his gap in employment, he didn't lie or hide. "I faced a difficult phase," he said, "but I used that time to grow, learn new skills, and work on becoming a better version of myself." One of the interviewers smiled, impressed. Arav left the room with mixed feelings. He didn't know what the result would be. He didn't know if he had performed well enough, but he knew one thing: he had tried his best. And that was enough. The call that changed everything. 3 days later, while Arav was helping his mother in the kitchen, his phone rang. His heart almost stopped when he saw the number. He stepped outside and answered. "Hello, Arav?" "Yes, speaking. We are pleased to inform you," his breath caught, "that you have been selected." Arav closed his eyes. Tears slowly ran down his cheeks, but this time they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of relief, tears of gratitude, tears of victory. His mother rushed to him, worried. "What happened?" she asked. "We did it, Ma," he whispered. "I got the job." She hugged him tightly, her eyes filling with pride. Looking back at the storm, later that night, Arav sat in the balcony again, under the calm sky. He looked at the stars and smiled. He thought about the past 3 months, the pain, the loneliness, the self-doubt, the struggle to stay positive. But he also remembered the purple flower, the small steps, the little victories, the promise he made to himself. And he realized something. Positivity doesn't remove problems. It gives you the strength to face them. He looked at the sky one more time and whispered, "Thank you, life, for teaching me that even in the darkest times, hope is never truly gone." The lesson. Arav's story is not perfect. It is not magical. It is real, just like life. And it teaches us something powerful. Difficult times will come. You will feel lost. You will feel tired. You will question your worth. But if you choose to stay positive, even a little, you will find the courage to stand again. Sometimes positivity comes from within. Sometimes from loved ones. Sometimes from strangers. Sometimes from a little purple flower. But it always comes, if you're willing to look for it. And like Arav, you too will rise again. Because the night is darkest before the sunrise, but the sunrise always comes.